Right. Okay, good. So used to, we use used to talk about past habits. It indicates that something was repeated in the past, but not now, right? So we have iron, but we pronounce it, we don't say iron. That's incorrect. We kind of say like the R is very, very soft and very quick. So it's more like iron, iron, cook, drink, skip, go, dress, pay, and play. So number one, I up as a witch at Halloween. So I used to, right? Something you did in the past. I used to dress up as a witch at Halloween, right? You can say at Halloween or on Halloween, right? There's a little bit of a difference with at and on. But starting from the fact that most British people would say at and most American people would say on, but sometimes we use at to indicate the period. Okay, not specifically Halloween day, right? But the moment when you start celebrating Halloween, which could be extended, right? Sometimes Halloween is not only October 31st, it could sometimes there are activities on the 29th, on the 30th, on November 1st. So that's Halloween, the season, the period of time. That's why we would say at. And if you want to specify that's on the day, on the specific day, it will be on Halloween, right? But yeah, this one would be dress up. Well, used to dress up. Now, we don't have to use dress in past because it's an infinitive. And the past is unused, so you don't have to do double past, let's say, just once, all right? How about number two? Let me have Maria Jose, can you help me with number two?
Yeah. I used to iron my clothes.
Uh-huh. Very good. I used to iron my clothes. So I used to, sorry, 1 second. Trying to figure this out. Okay. Used to iron my clothes. Very good. Maybe now you don't do it. Maybe your mom, maybe you don't even do it because you use a different detergent and it doesn't, or you use a dryer, so you don't need to use an iron anymore. Let's see, Jonathan, can you help me with number three?
I used to pay taxes when I was 15.
Okay, now the grammatically speaking, that is correct. But is that something that is it true? Is it something that you used to do? Or is it something that you didn't used to do?
I didn't.
Okay, so in this case, we're gonna use the negative form, which it would be didn't use to, because the negative form in this case applies because obviously when you're 15, you don't have to pay for taxes. Your parents do that, right? So you didn't used to to pay taxes when you were 15. You're used to that right now, but not when you were 15, right? Here, because we have past tense and did, we don't have to put used, in past. It would be in regular form, base form, use, okay? So this would be the correct answer. Let me have Vivi, can you help me with number four?
Yes, I used to go to the beach in the summer.
Okay. I used to go to the beach in the summer. So that's good, right? If it applies to you, it will be in affirmative form. Number five, Manfred, can you help me with that one?
Sure. I didn't used to skip a rope with my friends at the school.
Okay. So is this something that you do now?
No.
Okay, so if we use the negative form, guys, you are trying to say that you didn't do it before, but you're doing it now.
Mm.
Okay, so el negativo en pasado significa que no lo hacías antes, pero lo empezaste a hacer ahora. Right? For example, for taxes, si aplica el didn't en negativo porque sería algo que yo no hacía cuando tenía 15, pero ahora sí. Ahora sí tengo que pagar taxes, impuestos, en todo hay que pagar impuestos. So that's why we use didn't used to. In number 5, no está gramaticalmente incorrecto, pero significa que no solías brincar la cuerda, ¿ok? Con sus amigos a la escuela, pero ahora sí. Entonces, si es así, it's correct. If not, it would be I used to skip a rope with my friends at school. ¿Tiene sentido?
How you say if you never,
If you never did it.
yeah, if you never did that.
So you say it would be regular simple present. I never skipped the rope with my friends at school.
Okay.
It would be regular simple past because used to is only for habits. So si es un hábito, ¿verdad? Sería o lo solía hacer, ¿verdad? Y ya no. O no lo solía hacer, ¿verdad? Pero ahora sí. I don't know if that makes sense. No sé si me entiendes. De alguna u otra forma siempre va a haber un hábito, ya sea en el pasado o en el presente. Pero si quieres que no haya ninguno, si nunca lo hiciste, I never skipped the road would be the correct way.
Okay, teacher.
Okay. Is this information clear for everybody? ¿Todos tienen eso claro? Yes? Okay. You can use the icon to let me know. If it's unclear, please talk about it because you have a quiz and you need to kind of understand, right? You can interrupt me at any time if you have questions. Number 6, wine when I was in secondary school. So if you were a bad kid, okay, you were a bad kid, bad influence, so I used to drink wine when I was in secondary school. Obviously, that means that you were a bad kid, and maybe today you feel, okay, I shouldn't do that anymore. I don't like wine, okay? But it's probably more, usual or more likely to say I didn't used to drink wine when I was in secondary school. But maybe you do it today once in a while. If somebody offers you, you're gonna try it. But when you were in secondary school, you were a minor, you were under 18, so you didn't used to drink, okay? But maybe today you have the possibility. Does that make sense? So number 6, I would prefer to use negative because it's the context. But again, if you used to drink wine when you were in secondary school, then you can use in affirmative form. Does that make sense? ¿Tiene sentido?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So didn't would be better because it's something that you didn't do, but now you do if once in a while or occasionally, or if somebody asks you to do it. You're obviously an adult and you can do it. If you're still not an adult, then obviously this sentence doesn't apply to you, okay? So this sentence doesn't really apply, but it's only if you were an adult. Now, number 7, hide and seek with my cousins. Hide and seek is like saying in Spanish, escondido. Okay, jugar escondido. So hide and seek because you hide and then you look for people, right? Or people hide and you look for them, right? You seek them. So that's why it's called hide and seek. Let me have Maria Jose. Can you help me with this one?
Yeah. I used to play hide and seek with my cousins.
Okay, so I used to play hide and seek with my cousins. Very good, thank you. And the last one, dinner for the whole family. So I used to, right, cook dinner for the whole family. If you don't do it anymore, or if you did it in the past, right? But, or if you didn't do it in the past and you do it now, I didn't used to cook dinner for my whole family, but I do it now. Okay, it's something maybe I learned to cook, maybe I'm good at it, so I do it now once in a while. Or the first original sentence, I used to cook if you did it in the past and not anymore. Used to, sorry. All right, questions about this first exercise? No questions? All right, that's good. Remember to use the icons to let me know, guys, or talk. You can talk. We only have 4 people, so it's more manageable. Okay, so let me erase here. We have complete the sentence with the correct form of used to or be used to and match them to the pictures. So number 1, my mom with her doll when she was a little girl. Okay, so we obviously have some pictures here. If you go scroll down, you have the answers as well. So my mom used to play. Okay, these answers, as I already told you, some of them might be different depending on, you know, depending on the context, right? Negative means you didn't do it in the past, you do it now. And positive, you did it in the past, you don't do it now, right? So these answers can change. Now, the second part, my mom used to play with her doll when she was a little girl because, she was a little girl, now she's an adult. Number 2, Sue's baby brother is used to taking a nap after dinner. He does it every day. So this is something that he currently does. Mr. Clark's is used to reading a newspaper in the morning. It's part of his morning routine. So it is a routine. It would be is used to reading. Okay. Here, please pay attention to the ing because most of you might forget. So if you use is, you need ing. Okay. Kevin used to feed the ducks in the park with his father every Sunday. Okay. My cousin Frank didn't used to drive a car when he was in high school. He's had a
Teacher,
driving license. Go ahead.
sorry, and the number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I write Kevin is used to feeding the dogs.
Okay. Okay, that works if you're currently doing it. Yes. If Kevin goes with his father every Sunday today, right now, then yes, you can use is used to feeding. That's fine. I would accept that. But it changes the meaning, right? Because the meaning would
Yes.
be that he's doing it right now. But if the
Okay.
father died or if it's something that they used to do before, then it would be past, right?
Okay.
But yeah, thank you. Thank you for that's a good observation, guys. You could change it. It's not grammatically incorrect, but it just changes the meaning a little bit. Okay, number 5, my cousin Frank didn't used to drive a car because, well, he was in high school, obviously. He's had a driving license for a month, right? So his license is for a month. License, I misspelled it here. It's license with an S. Okay, Mike and Jimmy are used to sharing a room. They've been doing it since they were born. And Betty didn't used to undress herself when she was 3 years old, right? This could change. Maybe she did. Babies could be different. So they could probably undress themselves, but it's not common. That's why we use the negative, right? Betty didn't used to undress herself when she was 3 years old. A good clue, okay, una pista, if it's talking about past, we try to use used to. If it's talking about today, every day, right now, you have to use is or are or in past, was, were, used to, right? That's a little trick. Over here, guys, you have the numbers for the drawings, which are really easy, to understand. And then we have this last part. I'm not used to jogging in the park. I'm used to, so we're only using verb to be, used to in affirmative or negative. So I'm not used to jogging in the park. Jogging is like when you're not walking, but you're not running, right? It's in the middle. I'm used to being visited by my grandchildren once a week. I'm used to living with 2 dogs. I've had them for 10 years. I'm not used to going to bed late. I turn in early. When you turn in early, it means you go to bed early, right? This is a more formal expression. You say, I'm gonna turn in. It means I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna call it a day, right? You could say, I'm gonna call it a day, which means I'm tired, okay? I need to go to bed, right? So that's one. Number 5, I'm used to taking a bus to go to the city center. I can't drive. Number 6, I'm used to getting up early in the morning. I'm an early bird. This is a really nice expression too. When you're an early bird, this refers to you waking up early all the time, right? You prefer maybe to wake up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., enjoy your morning. Or if you're more like a night person, right? So, you prefer to stay up very late and then sleep all morning, that's different. But if you're an early bird, it means you like to get up early most of the times. Number 7, I'm not used to writing emails. I don't even have a computer. Number 8, I'm not used to listening to loud music. It makes me feel tired. So the clue to understand this would be the second sentence that I have is going to give you a hint, if it's affirmative or if it's negative, right? It's gonna help you. All right, that was basically the exercise you had at the beginning of the class.
Teacher,
Uh-huh.
yeah, how can we use was or were?
Was or were? Okay, very good question. So was or were would be something that you did in the past and you want to emphasize that you did it frequently, like almost every day. So it would be, for example, imagine the sentence in present. I'm used to going to school, okay, from Monday to Friday. So maybe without the coronavirus, right, the COVID-19, this would be true, right? So I'm used to going to school from Monday to Friday. It's something that I have to do. It's a routine, whether you go to university or you go to high school or you go to school, it doesn't matter. It's something that most people do, right? But okay, now we have COVID-19, all right? It changes our routine. So it's something now in the past. I was used to going to school from Monday to Friday, okay? And generally we use it in past to indicate something like, but now I only have virtual classes from home. So something changed, and now it's a different routine. So what's the difference? That if I say I used to go to school from Monday to Friday, this is not incorrect, but it has a different message, okay? I used to go to school from Monday to Friday. This means that something happened and now you don't do it and it's past. It's history. It's probably not gonna happen again, okay? I was used to indicates that it's something that maybe recently changed, maybe, and it's something that maybe will happen, we don't know. but it's just saying something that you were familiar with, and now maybe not anymore. Maybe the situation changed. Okay, so it's the same idea as in present. I'm used to going. I am acostumbrado, right? I am accustomed to going to school. The same, but in past. I was accustomed to going to school. So the emphasis is on being accustomed, on having that, habit in your brain. Used to, without the was, the emphasis isn't something that happened and won't happen anymore. Okay, it's something that you did for a long time, but not anymore. It changed, and it changed probably forever. Okay, but the second one, not necessarily forever. It's just something that changed, and it's more about being familiar with that activity. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense at all. Is that clear, or is it still confusing?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, remember that for he, she, and it, we use was. And for I as well. And for the other ones, we're going to use were. So you, we, and they were. So it's just the same. I was used to studying with my teacher. Okay, or they were used to, I don't know, going to the beach on holidays. Okay, so we just have to change the verb to be to the past. And then the rest is basically the same. Used to, and then ing. And then ing. If you use the negative, then you just use not, or wasn't, or weren't. Okay, that's it. That's how you use the negative, the past tense of was, were. Any other questions, guys? I want to show you the quiz real quick for you to kind of have an idea. This quiz, so I'm gonna try to log in as a student so that I can show you. The quiz is gonna have sentences in past or sentences that happen, they're happening right now in present tense, and you have to change it using used to, or was or were used to, or it would be is or are used to, right? It depends. So let me enter here as a student to show you real quick. Okay, so here it is. For this one, so the instructions, rewrite the sentences using used to or be used to. Now this be has to be conjugated. You have 20 minutes to do it, okay? And you have 10 questions. So don't spend a lot of time trying to think. Obviously, if you need more time, let me know, because I calculated it on how long it will take. Here we have Mark ate a lot of pizza when he was a child. So this is past. It already happened, right? So be Mark used to eat a lot of pizza when he was a child, right? You don't have to write the whole thing if you don't want to. What it's more important to me is the main sentence has to change to used to, right? In past, if this is past, right? Simple past goes to simple past with used to, okay? Here, for example, we have something that's currently happened. Nana speaks good English, so she will pass the English exam. So Nana speaks good English would be something that she's familiar with. So Nana is used to speaking English, so she will pass the exam, right? So this is how the quiz will work. I already gave you like 2 answers, but it's good for you to kind of understand it so that you don't have doubts, okay? That's it. Identify the tense. If it's something in the past, it already happened, it would be used to. Identify the tense. If it's something in the present, currently happening, would be am, is, or are, used to with ing, okay? Questions about that quiz?
No.
No questions? Okay. The other one, I'm gonna go and show you the other one. That one has to do with simple past passive, and we're gonna do a little review just after this, which is also rewriting sentences. It's not that hard. It's, you just have a sentence. She bought 4 apples. So you have to rewrite it into passive. 4 apples, or bought. And you don't really have to put by her, but if you want to, you can put it in parentheses. Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not, but it's just basically using the object as the subject, were, because this is past, passive, then the past participle, in this case, it's usually the same, not always, all right? Because maybe if I say rode, okay, like she rode a horse, then we're not gonna say the horse was rode, the horse was ridden. So sometimes it could change. So pay attention to the verb. And then we have the, the subject will become the object pronoun, right? So you can change the order, and that's how you have to do it with the rest of the sentences. It's really, really easy. And I think it's better to do it this way than having the whole exam, together, because you might confuse things. All right, so that's the quiz. Well, 2 quizzes. You can do it at any time. You have 1 week, and again, you don't have to spend a lot of time doing them. If you need more time because things happen, maybe you have an assignment in school, it's really important, or a meeting at work, let me know, because I can help you with that. But hopefully you'll have it for next week so that you don't have a bunch of quizzes together. All right, questions so far? Any questions? If you have no questions, I want to have a little review on simple past passive. So let me go ahead and show you. Okay. I have this little exercise. This is present and past passive. For the quiz, for the purpose of the quiz, is only simple past passive, okay? But it's good if you want to practice simple present because it's very, very similar. The only thing that we do is instead of are or is, we use was or were. And obviously we identify the original sentence. If it's in present, it's simple present passive. And if it's in past, then it would be simple past passive, right? So those are the only differences. Obviously, if you use simple present, it means it's something that they're doing right now, today, okay? Currently happening today. And if you use simple past, it's something that was in the past, right? Was done in the past, was created, was made in the past. For example, if you talk about electricity, then electricity was discovered or was created, will be in the past, right? Today we already have electricity, so nobody's creating electricity, right? Unless they're using a different source of energy. But that's my purpose. Or the light bulb, right? The light bulb was created. So it has to be in past because it's already an invention that was created. So you cannot recreate it, right? You cannot do it today. So we're going to use simple past in those cases. We have this 12 sentences. I'm going to copy paste them in the whiteboard so it's easier. And we're going to try to change these sentences in active voice to passive voice. Okay, in simple past. So let me write in here one by one. I'm going to do the first one so that you kind of remember, okay? He didn't find his file. So maybe he's at work, he doesn't find the documents, he's, upset. So in this case, maybe we don't want to blame him. We don't want to, have them accountable or hold him accountable, which means you don't want to put the responsibility on him. So we're going to use the passive voice. So it'll be his files. Okay, this is didn't. Okay, so I need to use verb to be in past. Was incorrect because files is plural, so we use were. His files were not because it's negative, or weren't. The past participle of find would be found. His files weren't found. If you want to put the responsibility on him, then you can say by him. But sometimes it's not necessary. That's why we're using passive voice, because we don't want to put the attention or place the emphasis on the person. We want to place the emphasis on the object. So that's why we use it. There's a reason we use passive voice. Now, generally, we prefer to use active voice. In most cases, in writing, in conversations, it's better because it's more straight to the point. But sometimes we don't. We want to be polite, or we don't know the subject. Okay, his files weren't found, so we don't know just who lost them or who's responsible. So we don't want to use active voice. We want to use passive voice. Okay, this is the first example. Let me copy paste this the other one. Okay, he washed his car on Sunday. Number 2. Oops. He washed his car on Sunday. Is there anyone who would want to help me with this example?
Me?
Go ahead. Thank you.
His car was washed.
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 Yes.
Washed.
Perfect.
On Sunday.
All right. So it was washed on Sunday. If you want to add the,
By
object verb.
him.
Perfect.
By him.
Yes. Excellent. So generally, information that starts with a preposition, like on Sunday, this is more of additional information, right? This is more like a preposition and another noun. So it's not really something you have to change. You have to change is the main sentence. You have the subject, the verb, and the object. And then what you do, just like Vivi did, you put the object as the subject, the verb is going to be with the verb to be in past, and him if you want at the end. And then on Sunday, you can add it anywhere at the end, right? Or you can say on Sunday, comma, his car was washed. But again, that's gonna depend on the intention. If you want to place the emphasis on Sunday, you can put it at the beginning, comma, his car was washed. Or if you don't really want to place any additional emphasis, you just add it at the end. Okay. All right, let's do the next one. Let me copy paste the next one. I'm gonna upload this document so you can have it as well on Edmodo. If you have time, you can do it. It's not extra homework or anything. It's just optional. All right, number 3. I didn't paint the whole room. Any volunteer? Any person?
Me?
Go ahead.
The whole room wasn't painted by me.
Very paint. What wasn't? What is the past participle of paint?
Painted.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't painted, and it's optional if you want by me. So the whole room wasn't painted by me, right? That's correct. We use past tense, negative, and then the past participle of paint, painted, or we can pronounce it painted as well. Painted, painted, both are correct. All right, let me copy paste the next one. Number 4. Over here, any volunteer?
Me,
Go, Jonathan, thank you.
the old clock was repaired by my grandfather.
All right, so in this case, it's not additional information because it's kind of important to know who repaired it. So the old clock was repaired by my grandfather. Okay, pronunciation of repair, repaired with the D, repaired. Repaired. Can you pronounce it with me? Repaired.
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 So the old clock was repaired by my, sorry, I didn't put the my grandfather. Another word important to notice is clock. We say like an clock. The old, so here we say old, like old. And then we have clock. Okay, can you say it one more time, Jonathan?
The old clock was repaired by my grandfather.
Okay, you're saying clack, and clack is more like clack, like this. It's more clock, clock. I put double A because it's like open, clock. The old clock, say clock. Say it with me.
The old clock.
That's much better.
Okay, the old clock was repaired by my grandfather.
Okay, repaired. All right, very good. Let's do the next one. We have number 5. I'm going to have a new whiteboard. Okay. John took a lot of photos at the party. How can we turn this into passive voice, guys? Anybody?
Me?
Go ahead.
The photos at the party were taken by John.
Good. Or taken by John. So at the party, this you could be at the end, could be at the beginning, could be, doesn't matter. So you could say the photos were taken by John at the party, the photos were taken by John. The photos of the party were taken by John. So it doesn't matter. But yeah, the rest is correct. So what matters is this, were taken, because it implies it's plural, it's in past, and then we have past participle. So that's very good. Thank you, Diose. We have number 6. Let me. Okay. Anybody that wants to help me with number 6? Richard broke the window. Anyone who hasn't participated in this one?
Me teacher or graving, you choose.
Oh, Manfred, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, the window was broken by Richard.
Perfect, Manfred. So the window was broken because it's the past participle of broke, right? Or break in present. So the window was broken by Richard. Okay. Sometimes we use expressions like this one in passive voice if you don't want to say who. So you say, oh, the window was broken. I don't know who did it, but you know, the window was broken. or somebody broke the window, but it's probably better to use a passive voice. The window was broken, like somebody else did it. But in this case, we have the person by Richard. So it is okay to use the person, you know, because maybe in this case, you don't want to take responsibility from this. All right, number 7, I have it over here. Maybe Graving can help me.
Yeah. The case was solved by a detective.
The detective, very good. So the case was solved by, sorry, the detective. Solved, it's, in this case, it's a regular verb, so it's going to be the same. If it's a regular verb that ends in ed, you don't have to think about, oh, what's the past participle? It's always going to be the same if it's ed. But if it's a different one, like break, broke, you know, take, took, those might change. Now, again, this by the detective is also kind of optional if you want to, because it might be redundant. Okay, the case was solved. Okay, perfect, right? The detective is kind of like obvious, right? So if you don't want to use it, it's okay. If you want to use it, it's also fine, right? Maybe it's important to you. Maybe you want to specify who did it. So, all right, number 8, it would be this one over here. Anyone? I didn't make my bed this morning.
Me,
Go ahead, Vivi.
my bed wasn't made this morning by me.
Very good. This morning, by me if you want to. Again, this is optional because, well, you know, unless somebody does it for you, like your mom or a person that, you know, goes to clean your house, but it's kind of obvious, right? The bed wasn't made this morning. So that's perfect. That's correct. All of these are correct. We have a few more. We have this one over here. Okay. They bought the tickets yesterday. Anyone else?
Me,
Go, Jonathan.
the tickets were bought yesterday.
Perfect. You say bought. Bought. Say it with me. Bought.
But
Bought. Yes. By them would be optional if you want to use it. But again, you did a good job because it doesn't really matter. The only thing that's important is the tickets were bought, right? The tickets were bought yesterday. So you don't have to worry. All right. Next one we have over here. Okay. I'm going to put it Mr. because it makes more sense. Mr. Smith drove the children to school. Anybody? Who would like to do it? Go ahead. Thank you.
The children were driving.
We say driven.
Driven to school by Mr. Smith.
Very good. All right. We're driven. It's really, really good to self-correct yourselves and monitor yourselves, because obviously we might automatically think, oh, driven. Even native speakers do that, right? So you don't have to feel like behind, but a good thing is that you know it's driven, right? Generally, when we have the past participle, we don't say driven or riding, we say written, driven. So we change the sound of I for E. Driven, written, right? All right, we have 2 more to complete this exercise. We have Number 11. Someone stole his wallet.
I want
Go ahead, Grady. Thank you.
the stall. No,
Okay.
the
So
stall. No.
remember, okay, you have subject,
Uh-huh.
then we have the verb is
Verb.
stole,
Uh-huh.
and then the object, right? So
His wallet was stolen by someone.
perfect. Now that by someone, it's not very necessary because it's
Uh-huh.
obvious,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So his wallet was stolen. So let's
Was
say
stolen.
maybe he's crying, maybe he's having a bad time. So say,
Mm-hmm.
what happened? Oh, his wallet was stolen, right? It's not so necessary to say by someone, but you can if you want to. Thank you so much, Gravy. Let's do the last one. So we have number 12. Oh, no, number 12. And slaves built these pyramids. Who would like to help me? Slaves built these pyramids.
I want.
Go ahead. Perfect.
This. How can I pronounce
Pyramids.
that? Pyramids.
Pyramid.
Was built. No. Bold. But. Well, bold. No. I forgot.
It is.
Um.
uh
Build. Belt. No. Bolt.
So, what's the present tense of built?
Bolt. Build.
With a D. So,
Uh-huh.
past tense is with the T, and past participle is the same. You don't have to open
Built.
stress. Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, but you said was. These pyramids, is it singular?
Where
Uh-huh.
were built
Huh?
by no, yeah, that's it.
In this case, we do
By
need to
slave.
say it's
Uh-huh.
important, right? Because it could be
Okay.
were built, but by whom, right? By slaves. So in this case, that's not optional. You need to add by slaves, right? Very good. Thank you so much for participating. All right,
Thank you.
guys, do you have questions about simple past passive? Questions? All right, remember I'm recording this session, so if you just enter the room, I'm gonna upload the video of this because we also did a review on used to and be used to, so it would be very, very useful if you watch the video later. And if you have questions by them, you can always text me, send me an audio message, and I'll be happy to help you. There's also something else before we finish our session, because I wanna give you some time to do the quizzes if you want to start it today. And if you don't want to start it, you can do it later. Remember that once you start the quiz, you need to finish it. You cannot go back to it later. So if you decide to do it tonight, you need to at least have, I would say 30 minutes just in case available, because otherwise you might run out of time. If you have problems with the system, or if it gets stuck, or if you answer it but the answers were not submitted, you can tell me and I can fix it, okay? But just make sure that if you start it, you finish it, okay? The other practice or review that I want to do, and this would be another quiz, but until next class. Okay, next class we're going to have a little quiz on this, but it's going to be more conversational. It's not going to be written, but it's ask and tell, and then object and infinitive. So we have here something to remember, which would be this little box over here. Let me have maybe Maria Jose, can you help me read this little box?
Yeah. We use tell when the sentence is a command or instruction. We use ask or asked when the sentence is a request.
Thank you so much. Now this little box is going to help us decide which one to use, ask or told. Now this is grammar. Sometimes in conversations we break the grammar and we don't really follow it. So in some cases you can use ask, in some cases you can use told, it doesn't matter. But we're gonna use the rule for the sake of the exercise, right? It's grammatically correct to use tell or told for commands, right? That's the meaning of tell or told, to ask somebody to do something, but you're telling them, right? Like a command. And ask is usually more for a request, for asking for something, a favor, a question, okay? So that's kind of the general rule. If we pay attention to the first exercise here, please don't shout. Is this a command or is this more like a request? What do you think?
Command.
A command, right? It's an imperative, it's an instruction. So please don't shout. Even though you're saying please, it's still a command. So she asked or she told him not to shout. What do you think it's better? Was she asking, really asking, or was she more like telling?
Telling.
Telling, right? So this is like sometimes if you're arguing with your friend or with, I don't know, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, you're more like, did you ask me or did you tell me to do it, right? There's a difference sometimes because if you're asking, it's nicer because you're asking. But if you're telling, it's more like you're not giving any option, right? You're just telling. So there's a little bit of a difference in context, and that's why we prefer to use ask instead of tell when it comes to requests or, you know, if you want something, an agreement with somebody. But if you tell, then that's more rude. That's more impolite. For example, a waitress, right, at a restaurant, we prefer to ask. We're not going to tell. We're not going to be like, bring me the menu. Okay, cook this food, right? It's more like, can you bring me the menu? I would like to order this and that, right? So that's the difference, right? So in this case, we would say she told him not to shout, right? She told him. She didn't give him an option. She told him not to shout. Number 2, can you show me the way? Let me have Manfred. Can you help me with this one? Number 2.
Can you show me the way? Yeah.
Correct. What would you use?
He asked to show him the way.
Okay, so you're missing one word here. So he asked her.
Yeah, I didn't see her.
To show him the way. Very good. Can you also help me with number 3, please?
Okay. Turn right at the next corner. She told him to turn right at the next corner.
Perfect. She told him, right, to turn right at the next corner. So she wasn't really, oh, can you turn right at the next corner? So sometimes we're not going to ask them, you know, things. We're going to mostly tell because it's kind of obvious, right? So there are some cases that we do that. Let me ask Jonathan, can you help me with number 4?
Don't worry. She told him not to worry.
Perfect. She told him not to worry. So remember, we use not to for negatives. We always use to. We always use the infinitive after ask or after told or tell, right? Number 5, Jonathan, can you also help me with that one?
What's your name? He asked him what his name was.
Very good. She asked him what his name was. So what his name was, this is like a sentence, not anymore like a question, right? What was his name is incorrect. She asked him what was his name. That's incorrect. It's more, she asked him what his name was. So it's also kind of useful to pay attention to this structure. WH, subject, and then the verb. So it's in questions. If it was a direct question, we have WH, the verb, and the subject, right, or the noun. But yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Let me have Vivi. Can you help me with number 6?
Yes. Stop. She told him to stop.
Very good. So she told him to stop, right? he didn't listen or she didn't listen. So number 7, Vivi, as well.
What are you doing? She asked me what I was doing.
Okay, so she asked me what I was doing. Perfect. All right, so that's more like a review for ask and tell. We have here similar exercises. Choose the correct sentence, A or B, that reports to what was said. So it's the same, don't do that. We use she asked him not to do something, or she told him not to do something, right? It would be she told him not to do something. So it's exactly the same. It's just a multiple choice, right? In here, you do have to write reporting sentences. So we have Mark, please close the window. So we use ask. So ask Mark to close the window. We're gonna do a few of this one just because it's going to help you formulate the sentence. So if you have asked, then we use to, right? And here we're gonna have the word to use, ask or tell. So let me have maybe Graving, can you help me with number 1?
Yeah. Shut up, Paul. Tell. Jen, tell. Jen, Paul to shut up.
Okay, is it in present or in past?
In past,
Right.
I think.
Yes, because when we use reported speech, guys, all the time, reported sentences will be in past, something that already happened. Okay, so Jane told Paul, and then?
To shut up.
Perfect. Jane told Paul to shut up. Number 2, can you also help me with that one, Baby?
Yeah, sure, of course. Julie, can you tell me the answer, please? The teacher asked to Julie, no, sorry, Julie to can you? No, can to Julie to
What is the main verb in the question?
to tell her. No, to told the teacher.
Told will be in past. What will be in present?
In
or
past.
Why past? So we need to use infinitive, right?
It has to tell infinitive. To tell. To
Tell.
Tell. To tell the answer, please.
To tell him.
To tell him.
The
See, the teacher, sorry.
You can please if you want. So yeah, correct. We have the teacher asked Julie to tell him the answer, please, or to tell her if it's maybe a female teacher. So the teacher asked Julie to tell her or him the answer, please, right? Here, it's two things are very important. First, the question can indicates that it's a request, so we need to use ask. But when we report it, we don't need to use can. We do not use modal auxiliaries when we report, requests. So we just basically use asked. So the modal would be, let's say, transform into ask, and then we use the verb in the question, the main verb, and it's going to be the same. It's going to be an infinitive. Infinitive means you don't need to conjugate it to any tense. So the teacher asked Julie, what did the teacher ask? Oh, to tell him the answer, please, right? So it's kind of important for you to understand this. First, request, okay, is can. We use ask. And then the verb would be tell, so we use that as an infinitive. Is that clear? Yeah? You guys have questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me have, Estanislao, are you there? I saw that you joined the lesson.
Yes, I am here, teacher. Hi.
Okay. How are you?
How about you?
I'm good.
Sorry,
Are
so
you?
late.
Don't worry. Remember, you can go back to the video that I will post, and you can, it's about the class, so you can review it. But are you following this exercise? Are you?
Okay.
Are you understanding the exercise? Number 3.
Okay, I try to do it.
Okay.
I love you, Petra. I love you, Jack. Okay, Petra.
So we're using tell.
Okay, Petra told.
Yes. Told whom?
Told you.
Told me or told somebody?
Told me.
Me. So Petra is saying, I love you, Jack. So,
sorry, Petra told him.
or Jack.
Okay, Jack. Two.
Okay.
Love.
Okay. So this is a little bit, let's say it's not grammatically incorrect. Petra told Jack to love him, but it's weird. This is weird. We would use, in these cases, maybe this is something new, that Petra told Jack that she loved him.
Okay.
Okay. So this one, it's not your fault because obviously this is a different structure. It's a little strange, Stanislaw, but it's because when we use I love you, I want you, I care for you, right? Usually we're using here I love you, right? And then you have the person.
Okay.
So what we're going to use is that, like a clause.
That.
We call it a clause. Guys, some examples for this would be, for example, I care for you. I called you. Whatever directive verb that we have, whatever verb you, we're going to turn it into that. So it'll be, she told him that she cared for him, or she told him that she called him, right? So it's like two different sentences in one, because otherwise the meaning, it's not conveyed. The meaning is not understandable, right? So those situations only happen, guys, when you have I, verb, and you, right? Or I, verb, and him, or I, verb, and her, right? Would be subject, direct verb, and object pronoun. But if you don't have that, we're gonna use it like here, right? Sue asked Mark to close the window. Jane asked Paul, or told Paul, sorry, to shut up, right? The teacher asked Julie to tell him the answer. So we have different ways to do it. But thank you, Senis. Now, let me have now, Jonathan, can you help me with number 4?
Bill told Andrew not to be silly.
Yes, very good. Not to be silly. Perfect. So Jill told Andrew not to be silly, right? In this case, we use the regular structure because it's not a subject, a verb, and an object pronoun. It's more like a command, right? So if you have a command, then we use regular structure. If you have a request, we use regular structure. If you have like a direct statement, we use that, right? Good. Okay, number 5, we have, how can we get there, John? This is a request. So Phil asked John, how, let's see, to get there. Now, this is a little bit different because we need, if you say, Phil asked John to get there is different. If we have WH questions, we need to include the WH question. Okay, that's another observation. So regular requests like, can you tell me, can you do this for me? It's okay, you don't need anything. But if you have a WH question, how or what or which or why, you need to include that before the infinitive. And then the last one, can you help me, Susan? David asked Susan to help him, right? David asked Susan to help him. This is regular structure. Okay, guys, so this is probably very, very fast, but you don't have a quiz for ask and tell yet. That will be until our next lesson. So we're gonna have more examples. I'm gonna bring more examples for, especially for this new structure, which is direct statements, and for WH questions, so that you don't have any questions about that, and we can do a quiz on this topic. For now, just focus on the two quizzes about used to and simple past passive. They're due next week on Wednesday. So you have a whole week to do them. And they're really, really fast. It's only 10 minutes each. Well, I would calculate around 10 minutes each, but I gave you more time, of course. So I gave you for the first one 20 minutes and the second 25 minutes, I think, and the second one 35 minutes. So if you need more time than that, let me know and I can extend it. But I'm pretty sure you're gonna have more than enough time. Questions, guys, about today's class? Any doubts? Any comments?
Teacher, in the last you did